I'm sorry, not on the construction, but not on the architectural drawing side.
Also, can you explain item number 20? As well as, I mean, we briefly talked about item 21, but those are the two that, 20 and 21.
Through the chair, item 20 is the trench and conduit with the new highway lighting systems. There's going to be 10 new, what they call control centers that powers the 340 lights or so on the project. The plans included a note that said that we were to put in the trench and conduit for the power services and an allocated 10,000 lineal feet to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the note says that that's our responsibility, or the city's responsibility to provide for that, but that quantity again was not carried to the general summary, so therefore it was not included in the original tabulation of the bids when it came in. It's shown and it's designated that that work needs to be performed within the right-of-way to get the power from Ohio Edison's off right-of-way locations into the power services on the right-of-way. So again, it's the same situation that we just talked about as in the lighting quantities. It just never got brought forward.
So I guess my question is, whose fault is that? Is it at CT Consultants?
Well, it's certainly city consultant's omission. I don't know, it's a legal question. I don't know if I can say fault, but apparently they did the plans, they did the summary.
Right. I mean, I guess what I'm looking at is you have items 19, 20, and 21. Now, the ditch regrading, you're saying that we're having to now refill in the ditch so that we can force the water through the twin 24s or 48 inch underneath 57 to basically get rid of the water. Now, so did they do any type of topography over and through there, and the outlet that it's over in North Ridgeville, what seems to be the problem? I mean, it seems like we're paying for things that should have been done.
That's not actually I would say nobody's fault at this time, for the reason that we were supposed to work within right of way. We are not supposed to look beyond the right of way. The ditch problem, the ditch which we are graded, and Brian can put a slide here.
And maybe just, if I could, to give council just a little detail. And this is a cross-section that's representative of the ditch going down the southbound side. As you can see, the darker line is the proposed new ditch, which came down through, ran underneath the green and back up. The red line that you see was the original ditch. And as I say, we had a V ditch that held water, but we just didn't see the volume of water that's being held. And the flat line, we're actually going through in what they're calling a biofilter by new federal standards. When you do any ditch work, you have to widen out the ditches to allow them to handle an additional capacity of water, so the force is dissipated, and hopefully all the sediments settle out prior to getting to the pipes and off the right-of-way. But what had happened, basically, is CT looked at, and I'm in discussions with their designers, they looked at the elevation of the ditch that was there and designed the new ditches to match that. And felt that that would, if the ditch was draining adequately before, by widening it and just flattening the vine, should continue to do that. Obviously, when we did it in the dry season last year, we got into it after the first big rainstorm. Everybody that's driven up and down 57 has seen that we created a pond, worse on the southbound side, but it's also on the northbound side, of containing the water in those flat bottom ditches. And what our proposal is right now is literally to come in, that green through the bottom is to fill that back in. We're going to take the water and force it to the pipe, and we're basically still going to store a foot of water in that pipe. The only difference is it's now not going to have the surface area, so you don't have to worry about mosquitoes. We can get the grass to grow in the ditch, but you're still going to hold water in that pipe. We're going to try to force as much of the water off the right-of-way onto the Walmart property as we can, and through their ditch going back into North Ridgeville. I mean, long-term, we still haven't resolved the problem that we got standing water in the pipe, but we've at least eliminated the bulk of the problem within the ditches and with the standing water in the ditches. And that's the proposal we put in. But probably the best I can explain is they just designed it based on what was there. Obviously, when we got out there, it did not work.
Right. Well, I guess my question would be to, I mean, if you know that you, before the project even started, where the water's got to go, that they should have went over to the Walmart site and verified some of the inverts of these existing pipes so they can determine what the lay of the land is currently and what we need to do. So now we're having to go back and potentially spend another $85,000. It's just,
Well, one of the
when
things
we're fighting for money, I mean, so.
One of the things I want to mention there is on the Walmart property. Walmart property, the elevation, it's just a little higher than even our ditch. Even if they had gone to Walmart property, even if once you go downstream, it does not change. It still slope the same. The elevation is pretty much same. You cannot create that slope and make it more steeper than what it is now. It's very flat. One of the problems we got into after we saw that lake and when we went to Walmart and when we talked to Walmart, actually not Walmart but through their engineer, the reason they told us that the wetland authorities or U.S. Corps of Engineers apparently designated that area as a wetland not to disturb area. So we had a proposal to clean that ditch so that it can flow towards north, but apparently we cannot touch it without even going to U.S. Corps of Engineers and going through wetland delineation and all that all that efforts, and it would take probably not the months, probably a year. And again, our information was probably U.S. Army Corps of Engineers may not even allow to touch that ditch because that was a restriction put on at the time when they built that Walmart. And that's the reason we chose this option to force that water towards Walmart ditch so that at least it will not stay on our property and it will try to push towards Walmart and towards the ditch on the north line.
And just one more, if I may, just the additional mulch. How much mulch? I mean, we're talking already an additional 42,000. How much have they already put down, and what was that initial dollar amount?
There's a certain percentage of the mulch. There's a 5,200 yards that was calculated to be required for all the planting beds. Of that, almost 1,200 yards is included with just the plantings. And then they had allocated an additional 2,500 yards to be used at the discretion of the engineer. We're going through right now trying to eliminate mulch, narrow the beds up, do anything we can to try to reduce that quantity and to bring it down. This is at the worst case scenario right now, but we've been working with the landscaper. And one of the problems is we got to make sure we have enough mulch over the root balls of those plants so that we can see that they grow. But we are trying to limit the amount of mulching when we realize that there was a plan calculation error as such to try to reduce that. But at $25 a yard with mulch, as you well know, it doesn't take long to add up a substantial amount. And again, that's the worst case scenario. We've probably reduced that now down by probably another 6,000 or 7,000 in the last week, and we'll continue to do that through the next, through the October planting season. But we're trying to do it frugally to make sure that those plants grow when we're done as well. And to make sure that we still have the intent to get the beds to look how you want them to look without, just narrowing them down to a point where all you see is just the plants, and the next thing you know, you have grass growing up through it in years to come.